Good morning, guys. Welcome to Live Dominion Great Farms. I'm very excited today. These are my chickens of 2 weeks and 3 days. I'm going to be letting you in on three key things that you need to do while brooding your chickens. The very first thing is temperature and hygiene. Now, when you get your day olds, there are very important key things that you need to do. The very first thing is temperature. Day olds require a temperature of 32 to 35 degrees centigrade. That's a little bit above room temperature, which is required of every day old. So if you're keeping them, make sure that you have that temperature. And how you can ensure that is with the use of charcoal or with the use of a yellow bulb that produces heat. You can do that to help maintain that temperature, and also make sure that wherever you're keeping these chickens, the temperature is maintained, not in a place where the temperature will drop maybe later in the night or the heat is escaping from somewhere. No, you need to maintain it. This is very important. This will help them grow. This will help them grow very well. And as they get older, they will begin to grow feathers. So as their feathers begin to grow, the temperature that they require will drop over time. So within the first 3-4 days, this temperature is very important. As they get older, getting towards 1 week, you'll notice if your chickens are doing well, you notice they'll begin to grow. They will begin to change their feathers from the one you saw as a day old. They'll begin to change, and as they are changing, they will need more temperature. They will need less temperature. So room temperature, it will gradually begin to go down to the room temperature. So these are things you need to observe. If you see your chickens being clustering together in a particular place, it's a clear sign to let you know that they are cold. And in that circumstance, you know that you're doing something wrong, so you have to check the temperature of the room. The next thing is, if you see them opening their feathers, it's a sign to also let you know that they are very hot, and it means that you need to work on the temperature of the place. Very important. These are what you need to know on temperature. The second, hygiene. Make sure that you use sawdust or wood shave. Especially for day olds, wood shave is better because it helps maintain a better temperature. But getting older, you can use wood shave like you're seeing over here. So if you use that, it will help them it will help keep the place clean, because what that sawdust does is that it absorbs the waste from the chickens. For example, their waste, their feces and all of that, they drop. It helps absorb it and keeps the place clean. And over time, you have to also be very observant to change it with time. Like for example, you can see the chickens here, they have already covered this space that I kept them. So it means that I will need to change this space over time. I will need to take them out of this place to somewhere bigger. These are things you need to observe. The second thing is feeding and treatment. Now for me, I observe something. Like I said, like I always mention to my clients, there's nothing that is fixed in farming. Everything is based on your environment and what suits you and what suits your chickens. For me, I notice also that there are some basic things you need to do. Very importantly, what I do is that when I get my day olds, I give them soya beans, corn, and crayfish shafts, or any dried fish you can get. Shaft is the waste from crayfish. You can get it from those people who sell crayfish. If you're staying in an environment where they don't have crayfish, you can get fish, dried one, and you grind it. If you don't have, it's fine, but make sure that it contains at least 90% soya beans and 10%, or let me say 10 to 20% corn. So when you get these things, you grind them and you put them in powder form, so it will be easy for them to ingest it, and you feed them for the first 3 days. Now what you will notice is that they will begin to grow faster and better. Feeds that are produced these days, we are not certain, nobody is certain except for the producers, on the content of the protein. You're not sure, and I noticed that when you use this one, you're sure of what you're giving them, and you will notice that it will give them a head start. They will grow faster. Is like a boost for them, because this at this early stage, especially as they old, they need more protein content. So once the protein content is present, which is very present in soya beans and very present in dried fish, it will help them develop faster. So this is a tip I do in my own for the first 3 days. Now, how do I do it? I use if it's 50 chickens, I'll use 50 chickens for example. Then the number of chickens you're doing, you can multiply it. For me, I get a custard of soya beans. A custard is, if you're not in Nigeria, a custard is probably around 2 to 3 kg of soya beans. 2 to 3 kg of soya beans. I get that and I mix it with very small corn, maybe 10% of that quantity of corn, and I grind it and I give it to them. This helps them tremendously to do well. Then after which I then continue with the normal starter feed, depending on your environment, a good starter feed to continue to boost them. This will help them do well. You can see these ones here, they are just 2 weeks and 3 days. You can tell that many of them here already half a kg in size. So this is a good start. Then also to another thing that we must consider is the treatment. Now, how do you treat your birds? I have my own way I do it. You can do what I do, but this is not a doctrine. This is not fixed. But there are basic things I believe that must be done. For example, when I get my chickens, I notice that when you get your chickens, they travel from a place or a location. Most times, even taking it from where you buy it to your house, you stress those day-old chickens. So what I do is that I get them glucose. For the next 24 hours, I give them glucose. I introduce glucose to their water. After which, I start treating them for antibiotics. Someone will say, are they sick? For a beginner, you will not be able to tell if your chickens are getting sick, especially at that early stage. Even as an expert, you might miss it. So what I do is that I just put them on the antibiotics treatment, because you don't know what they have been exposed to, and you don't know what you're exposing them to in your environment, because bacteria are not what we can see with our eyes. No matter how clean the place might be, or you might perceive it to be, they are still at risk of picking up something, because at that stage their immune system is not built up strong enough. So I give them antibiotics for the next 5-6 days. When they get to 1 week, 7 days, on the 7th day I vaccinate them. That day I don't give them any antibiotics. I vaccinate them for Gomboro. You can give them Lasota, but me, I do Gomboro. I think it's better, but I've not really seen any difference. It's just my own perception. I give them Gomboro. Depending on the number, they have 50 dose, 100 dose, 500 dose. Based on the number you have. If you have 50, you get 50 dose. When you get it, there's a prescription on how to mix it as well in the water. And make sure that day they don't drink water. So when you give them this vaccine, they can take it immediately. It's not good for vaccine to stay for a day, 2 days, and they are still drinking it. No. So make sure you make them test for water before introducing this vaccine. And after that, you back it up with antibiotics, multivitamin for at least a day or 2. After that, I move to treat them for coccidiosis. And also, when you're getting antibiotics, I forgot to say this, when you're getting antibiotics, make sure you get antibiotics for your day-old that has multivitamin. This is very important, because in as much as you want them to fight diseases, you want them to also grow. Their body also needs essential minerals. So antibiotics that has multivitamin, ask for it, you get it in any vet shop. And also when you're treating them for coccidiosis, try as much as possible to get a coccidiosis drug at that early stage that also has multivitamin in it. This will help them. So back to what I was saying. From that 1 week plus, I treat them for coccidiosis for 3-4 days. Now, it's based on the number you have that will determine the number of coccidiosis drugs you will buy. You might need to buy 1 sachet, depending. So I treat them for 3 to 4 days with that. And after I do that, then they are getting close to 2 weeks. I start to give them multivitamin till they are 2 weeks. And once they are 2 weeks, I vaccinate them again for Lasota. After which, I go back to my antibiotics for 3 days, 3-4 days, and then I move again to Gomboro. So between 2 to 3 weeks, I give them antibiotics, and I treat them for antibiotics for 3 days, and I treat them for for 3 days also. I treat them for coccidiosis for 3 days. So that takes it up to 3 weeks. That's what I'm doing. I do in my farm. Or at that point, based on your observation, because farming is highly on observation. Sometimes I give them multivitamin for the first 3 days, then I treat them for antibiotics for the next 3 days, based on observation. Because when they have coccidiosis, there's usually this redness in their poo that can clearly be observed. But for my own chicks here, I'm not seeing it at all. So I just give them, if you look at the water here, I'm giving them, this is a multivitamin. And also go for good multivitamin at this stage. Don't compromise at all. I give them that at this stage. That's what I do. Then after which, maybe by tomorrow, I'll treat them I'll give them antibiotics till they are 3 weeks. So that's what I do for the first 3 weeks. And that's how I have gotten this result that I've gotten. These are the things I do. Then this brings me to the third thing: spacing and lighting. Make sure your farm is well lighted. It's very important. Very, very important. I make sure that they have proper light, especially in short, all through the night. They should have light for at least 4, 5, 6 hours in the night. This is very important, because the more they eat, the more they convert, because the feed conversion ratio of these chickens, which I'll be diving in on more videos to come, is highly dependent on how much feed they consume, because you can't convert what you don't have. So you try as much as possible to give them the opportunity to eat, because broiler chickens, as you can see we are training here, they eat non-stop. They are eating almost all the time. So if you can give them light at least in the night, 4, 5, 6 hours, very good. It will help them. If you can keep it, especially at the early stage, give them light throughout the night. Early stage, that's what I do. Give them light throughout the night, so that it will help them to eat more and convert more. Very important. Very, very important. So that's what I do. Then also to spacing. They are already, you can see them here. These are what I did here is I just did I normally run experiments. So this experiment is with 1.5 carton of chickens. This 75 pieces of chickens. I have them all here. So when you do this, you reduce the chance of mortality and all those things, because if you're a farmer, you understand that by the time you lose 2, 3, 4 chickens, the cost of it covers for most of these things I'm saying, the drugs, the vaccine, it covers. So to avoid it, get these things done. Don't play with this first period, and you get a good result like this. You get an excellent result like this. In more videos to come, I'll be letting you in on more things that you need to do in your farm. How you will know that your farm, your chickens are doing well by the number of feed they have consumed. That will also give you an idea if these things are growing well, because at a particular stage there should be a particular number of feed they have eaten. If they haven't eaten like that, it's a sign to let you know that they are not doing well. Do you understand? It's a sign to let you know that they're not doing well. So in more videos to come, I'll be letting you in on that, and I'll be letting you in on management strategies, so that you can manage your chickens better, and you don't lose, you don't waste feed, you don't lose money and all that. So thank you guys. Please do well to like, do well to share, do well to comment on this video. Any questions you have, any video you want me to talk about, please drop it on the comment section. Thank you. Remember, farming saves lives. Thank you very much.